Your ass is like a bony.
Like a boner?
A boner, probably, yeah.
Your ass
I'm
is
not sure.
like a boner.
That doesn't make sense either. I don't know.
Welcome to Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On with Janice Formicella. I'm Janice Formicella, a breakup coach passionate about supporting others to learn from their breakups, overcome loneliness, love being single, and see the end of a relationship as the beginning of a magical, sexy new chapter in life. I am here each week to share with you the tools that I have learned through my own painful breakups, through hitting rock bottom more than once, and through working with people all around the world to heal their broken hearts. If you are looking for hope and strength to move on from your breakup and resources to enjoy your new life, you are in the right place, and I've got your back. Welcome, everyone, to a very special bonus episode of the show. Today, we are having a happy hour episode, and this is something that I wanted to do from the very beginning of being a podcaster, and that is me and my friends are going to watch something that has to do with dating and breakups. We are going to get tipsy and talk about the good, the bad, the really weird, and everything in between. Today, or this week rather, it's a Friends with Benefits week here on the podcast. So if you haven't listened to the episode that dropped on Wednesday, you can. I would really love it if you would. I recorded an episode with my friend Laura all about just the concept of Friends with Benefits. And when I met these lovely friends here who had both seen the movie and thought it had some interesting aspects to it, I decided this would be a great time to revive the happy hour episode. Today, we're going to be getting tipsy and talking shit about the movie Friends with Benefits. I cannot wait to get into this. So let me introduce my friends. I've got two Denverites here with me, and I'm super stoked about it. Dessi, let's start with you. Tell us who you are, what you would rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10, and what you are drinking.
All right. So, hi, beautiful people. Dessi here. You can recognize me from my accent. You can never ever mistake my voice.
That is true. Want to tell everyone where your accent comes from?
So, the accent comes from Southeastern Europe, Bulgarian, with some nosh of Italian and Greek.
When I've done these episodes before, I have had people tell me that they couldn't tell the difference between my voice and the friend I was recording with. And I don't think that's going to be an issue tonight.
No, let's say this. My thick Bulgarian accent is here. It's here to stay, and it's been here for a while.
Hell yeah.
30 years. And hell yeah, of course.
Yep.
And that's me. That's how I sound.
What did you think? What would you rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
So the movie carried the basic, content for the time that it was made, the 2000,
Okay.
Kind of like, millennials living in a city. We are so cool. We are so technological.
Totally. We're going to cover that.
And the other thing is like we can work on iPad or something like this. I was watching and I was like, all right. So, pretty much that's what it is. The typical love story, the two city kids, the successful college brats. They're like trying to make it in life and, the whole drunken scenes and the little...
Well, okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
Just getting into it.
Tell us your rating and what you're drinking. We're going to get in.
I would say because of Woody Harrelson, and he's amazing. And because... even when they made a joke of him through this whole movie setup, I'd say I'll give it like 6 or 7.
Okay.
The 9-year movie.
It's not what I was expecting. And what are you drinking tonight, girl?
Hey. So I'm drinking some really good Cap and I'm just amazed by the quality of it. So,
All right. I think you were the perfect one to ask to do this happy hour episode with me. And Brian, I think you were perfect as well. I think you're going to bring some great insights. Plus, you were actually the one at our meetup who had brought this film up.
Yes.
It was your idea. This originated with you.
Yeah, I did not expect this. So we met at this meetup called What's Next, kind of trying to figure out like whatever things are happening in our lives or issues happening, like what steps we want to take on next. And then as we were chatting at this bar, then suddenly, whatever the reason, we just came up with like talking about movies. I was like, I just watched this Friends with Benefits movie. At the same time, Janice mentioned about, I have a hot podcast that I'm going to be talking about Friends with Benefits. Do you guys want to join this happy hour episode together? I was like, interesting. That's what.
Hey, you know what? I go with my gut. We were having a great chat about it. So
I was like, okay.
And here we are.
And yes, here we are. So I would say Denverite as well. Lived here for like a year or two, almost 2 years now. Enjoying life here myself. Gonna do landscape design related stuff. And drink wise, I would say I do have here, I can show you guys. So it's a chocolatini. It's 2 parts of the word the double chocolate liquor. Just right here. I love the bottle, the design of this bottle. It's just
cool.
Super
Brian.
nice. And then a 1 part of Chopin vodka.
So it's easy. And is it
super easy. It is. It's really creamy. So adding that Chopin vodka helps kind of dilute that creaminess because it's super creamy. But then it's like mixing the two together is just a perfect texture, like a creamy decadent texture. And then once you drink it, it's like a dessert type of feeling. And
I think this would be a real crowd pleaser. Anyone who likes to entertain out there. It's 2 ingredients. And what do you rate the movie?
It depends on audience view of like if they see it, if they want to get a good laughter out of this, I would say maybe an 8 out of 10. If they actually want to understand what Friends with Benefits is actually about, I would give it like a 4 out of 10. Okay. I don't think it's very realistic to how it's actually like, but if it's like, if people just want some laughter on a Friday night, I would totally recommend it.
And I would say if you want something cringeworthy on a Friday night, I would possibly recommend it. I'm Janice Formicella. I'm the host of this podcast, and I also live in Denver. What I'm drinking tonight is a French 75. So I often, when I do these episodes, like to pick a cocktail that has something to do with the theme. For instance, I did a chocolate cocktail when I did the Valentine's Day episode. This movie didn't really help me in that regard. I don't know. There was nothing that stood out. And so I thought to myself, what could be Friends with Benefits? Like, what is something that I really like to drink that I could mix with something else? I'm a gin girl. Enthusiastically. And so I thought French 75, mixing gin with bubbles. So, and this is a makeshift. I don't have much bar equipment at my house. It is 1 cube of sugar, 1 ounce of gin, topped off with bubbles. And this is meant to be a lemon twist. I don't know how to do that. So there's just some chunks of lemons peel in here.
Visually, it looks beautiful.
Pretty good.
It's really good. I would call it, if you ever have some people over, it's, again, such a crowd pleaser. It's so tasty, so refreshing. And it's my friend with a benefit. As far as the movie goes, I really had a hard time. I think it sucks. I think it's going to be fun to talk about. I'm a solid 3 for 3.5. So with that, let's get into it. Before we really get this off the ground, I wanted to give a little info about the movie. It was made in the year 2011, or that's when it dropped. It stars Mila Kunis, and I'm not like a celebrity person. Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake, and randomly and weirdly, Woody Harrelson, and one of the worst roles I've seen him in, maybe second worst. It was so awful what they did with his character, especially having him be like the token gay guy. It was so offensive. And Sean White. What the hell? Okay, we're going to get to that. Okay, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 69% out of 170 reviews with a 6.2 average. A lot of people said in the reviews that I read that the actors had great chemistry. I
disagree wholeheartedly. I thought they were horrible together. I think people just said that because they happen to be together in real life. IMDb gives the summary. A young man and woman decide to take their friendship to the next level without becoming a couple, but soon discover that adding sex only leads to complications. Well, it certainly did with them. And I thought this was hilarious. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I don't go on IMDb very much. And I did not realize that they have tags for the types of movies. Okay. The five top tags for this movie are female rear nudity, oral sex, blow job, no panties, and orgasm.
Which was a really awkward orgasm, I would say. One of the most awkward
orgasm should be.
It was
all right. So we've given a little summary. Let's get into it. The movie starts out with the two, we're thinking that they're actually a couple getting into a little spat, but actually they're on other sides of the country. LA and New York. Ooh, polar opposites, right? And they're each about to go through a breakup. I have to say, this was probably my favorite scene of the movie, or the only thing I really appreciated, is when Justin Timberlake's girlfriend says to him, "It isn't you, it's me. And I don't like you anymore."
I love that reaction. Yeah.
He goes, I can stand him. So she put it like very realistically to me.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you stand him?
I just don't like the prototype.
Of what?
Younger guy there, and that doesn't possess any soft skill, but at the same time, he's like progressively going up and up and up.
I thought that they portrayed him as quite personable.
I didn't feel that. Maybe because I'm biased. It just seems so made up. Like, no.
Brian, what did you think of Justin Timberlake overall in the film?
Overall, I think the first couple times I watched it, chemistry wise with Mila Kunis, at first I thought it was really good. And then as I started noticing more of the details, I could tell it's maybe the acting part of it that could have been more refined. It feel like, and also I guess it made it less realistic when there's so many punchlines, which made it hilarious but less realistic. It's like this just doesn't seem to really happen in real life. So in some ways it feels like, okay, it just feels pretty cinematic, even though they're trying to make it script wise, trying to make it sound like they're super
nobody talks
charismatic.
Like this.
Yeah, nobody
it was
really
just
like
banter without any breath even.
It's like 2 minutes in, seeing Mila Kunis on the baggage carousel, and then suddenly the chemistry just sparked right there when she was the one, the headhunter trying to kind of get him convinced to taking this job as an art director, and then suddenly the two just right away formed this chemistry from a professional standpoint. I don't know, it just seemed like the script kind of forced it in a way to make them form this chemistry this soon. It's not that it won't happen in real life. It's just in some ways made me feel less realistic about it. It just
they didn't even have small talk. They just get into the cab and are just ribbing each other just instantly. Yeah, I thought the airport scene was just stupid. You know, she's like running on the the baggage claim thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just cheesy from the get-go. So they get into the cab, they're ribbing each other, they're having this great chemistry where they can't stop talking, and then they get into LA, New York, and Mila is going to convince Justin to move there. She's not going to sell him on the job. She's going to sell him on New York. And then they go off on and off each other, comparing the two cities. That was just annoying. They say the stupidest thing. Oh, New York is hot, but it's a different hot.
Oh, well, and also, I just remembered it where Mila was saying, I'm not going to sell you on the job. I'm going to sell you on New York. And he was like, I don't really want to take this job. But then she's trying to sell him on New York and say, I'm not going to show you all the bullshit touristy stuff. I'm going to show you the real New York that you don't see on Seinfeld. And then she takes him on Brooklyn Bridge, and then takes him on she takes him on Times Square and all the cliche stuff. I was like, okay. And then in the end, that's what makes Dylan take this job? I was like, I get it. There's the flash mob. I feel like as an art director, you probably should know what a flash mob is, which at the time he had no idea what a flash mob is. Like, what is this? I was
Also,
like,
in 2011, that was the trendiest shit at that time.
It is like it's around like early 2000s, stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, didn't really know what it is. But then all like the cliche stuff that he sees, and then he decides this is the job I want to take.
I'm in. And I liked when they were doing the flash mob, how Mila like kind of knew it. Like, you know, as if she goes and does it. And I also thought, so is this a group of people who just get together once a week to do this? I don't know. What did you think about her going into the parking garage and just going up into this random spot to bring him? I thought that was really weird as well.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, because I've never really thought that much of the contrast between LA and New York, but there was like the same night where Mila Kunis as the New Yorkers, like breaking all the rules, crossing the traffic light, just crossing over the entrance and all that. And then Justin Timberlake is like the one following all the rules and all that. I don't know. So it's like, that was an interesting take for me. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, her taking him up I think that was the first night, right after the interview, that they met each other, and Mila Kunis has never taken anyone else onto the rooftop. So that was like just that's interesting, and somehow that turns into a friends with benefits situation where the chemistry just sparks so early on.
Right, but of course neither one of them are
I guess they were
attracted to each other.
That's true.
Yeah, you're no, but it's stupid. And yeah, why is she bringing this guy up? She's been a recruiter for a while, but this is the guy she decides to take up into the skyscraper. That's
where I feel like parts of this, like the script part of it, is like it's hard to fully connect with it, like why specifically Justin Timberlake is the one. But yeah, that's the part where I feel like the chemistry kind of just went super fast. It felt natural, but at the same time not so natural. It was interesting, that rooftop scene.
I didn't see any chemistry. It was honestly, like, pardon my language, but from the get-go, it looks like a forced mainstream. I'm biased about it because I don't like her character in general. I couldn't stand her that 70s show either.
Okay.
And also him maybe coming from a cheesy boy band, with that puro getup. I just can't get over that either. Mm-hmm. So I just didn't see any chemistry, and all this fake talk and all these like orchestrated moves and behaviors.
Mm-hmm. I think by chemistry, some people mean that they were just talking nonstop, maybe.
Nothing attracted me to any of the conversations. As a matter of fact, I was like, another millennium movie. And there were so many of these during the 2000s that it was like a sickening trend.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So this is where we first encounter Shaun White. Why is he in this movie?
I actually really love that part of it. I don't know why, because it's like, because if people don't know who Shaun White is, he's a former American professional snowboarder and skateboarder, and he's known to be a really, really nice person. So then in the movie, when you have, basically it was a scene where Mila Kunis was having dinner with Justin Timberlake, and then suddenly Shaun White bumped into her, and then suddenly he sees Justin Timberlake, and like he was super nice to Mila Kunis, and once he sees JT, he was like, and just started lashing out, just like one more word, and
he says he's like gonna kill him or something,
something like that. And like, it was just so hilarious because I love how they just portrayed him as the complete opposite in the movie. And in real life, he's like a really nice person, and then in the movies, like just trashing every time he sees Justin Timberlake is just lashing out.
If it was during his heyday, I guess some of his fans would have thought that was hilarious. I would say perhaps it didn't age very well because it's not like he's super in the spotlight now. And so for me, it just felt so weird.
That could be, it could be a timeline issue because maybe at the time it worked well, but then nowadays, since he's already not in the field, for people who don't know who he is now, which probably many don't, the younger ones don't, then they won't really get it.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you had no idea who he is, you would really, really not get it because he randomly shows up. He acts like a psychopath, and then he goes, and he's going to make a hilarious appearance at the end of the movie, which we'll definitely talk about. Desi, did you know who Shaun White was?
I've seen Shaun White in person.
Oh, really? Yes, please.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, on a snowboarding trip in Aspen many, many moons ago. But he wasn't there like to compete or anything. It was like a private visit, and He does look like a super nice guy, and he looks way better with short hair.
Yeah, there's kind of a carrot top thing going on that really threw me off, to be honest. Does anyone know what Shaun White is doing today?
He's married.
No idea. Okay.
And he's happy. And
He's married and happy. We're glad for you, Shaun.
there you go.
Let's go on to the scene where JT is the boss and he gets his apartment and then he goes and meets his staff. What I thought was annoying is that he says the door is always open, and he goes over and just like holds the door in two hands and just somehow rips it out with no effort at all. The door from the hinges.
It's like the hinges weren't even there. It's just like it's already set. All the staff has taken the hinges off. It's like,
oh my God. It was staged.
It has to be staged. Like, how do you just take the door in 2 seconds?
So he talked to the staff ahead of time, maybe his assistant, who we never see, and said he's going to do this really cool thing. So take the hinges off the door, and then I'm going to tell them the door's always open.
That's probably what happened. And of course, that wouldn't be on a scene in the movie.
Oh my God. It was so stupid. All right. Let's talk about what Desi is really waiting for. Let's talk about Woody Harrelson and how horrible this whole thing was. Who wants to go first?
Woody Harrelson, I love his comments, not just the funny ones or the whatever. It's just like, I loved it. Started loving it mainly when maybe like the second scene with him, he was looking at Shaun White's poster and he mentioned something. He has a massive kumquat. I was like, this is an interesting comparison for somebody's ass. Those kumquats are tiny.
The shape.
They're bouncy, but still though, it's like super tiny. I mean, you know how usually like you always think about the peach or like even apple or something.
Well, I also thought it was weird how hypersexual they made him. It's like
the other comment that like literally floored me. I think that's why I continue watching the movie was like, he's talking about Obama's ears.
Yeah, like an elephant's ear.
And now I'm attracted to Obama.
Okay, I was just going to say, over Shaun White and Barack Obama and winning a sexy contest, Obama all the way. I agree with you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, I will get down.
I don't know. I feel like they were trying to make Woody Harrelson like the gay man. And eventually it just feels like the more because every time Woody Harrelson shows up, Justin Timberlake is right by him. It's like always the two together. So like every time he's trying to portray himself as the gay man, it just makes me more and more convinced that JT is actually the guy who's the gay man. I don't know. It's like there's nothing gay about Woody Harrelson, but then it's like contrasting him who's trying to be gay to JT. Then it's like, oh, maybe JT's gay.
Right. Well, and Woody Harrelson thought that he was.
Yeah, I guess so. That's one thing that stood out, and it just. And there's one sentiment, I think, where he was saying, and I wonder what you guys think, but he was like, it's when you really meet like a girl or actually in love with rather than sex.
Yes.
Like it's not about the Friday nights you want to spend time with, but it's about every Saturday night they want to spend time with. For me, I kind of side with JT's response. It's like, wow, every Saturday night for the rest of your life. It's just, I feel like people nowadays, because like people nowadays live forever. It's like in their 80s or like even 90s, like throughout time. And also with just how fast paced the world is, like you're living through different situations, you're evolving in many ways. Like to have to just imagine yourself being with a partner throughout the rest of your life and spending time every Saturday. It's like, it's almost sounds a bit overwhelming, and you can still love the person. But for people like me, for example, who needs like a lot of space, but at the same time, you want that connection with this person, you really love them. But just that idea of spending like consistently every Saturday night. I don't know what you guys feel about that. It's just different from how things were in the past.
Mm-hmm. I rarely have been booty calling or being booty called on Saturday. Usually it's a week thing. So I kind of got it like, it's not the Friday night girl. It's the Saturday, like a whole day girl, you know, which means like more of a commitment. It doesn't have to be serious, but it's not like as the Friday night pop off type of thing, you know, and let's get it on type of thing. But you're right though. And I completely agree with what you say. I crave connection, but I crave my own space too.
Well, and that's, I mean, it's kind of an outdated way of seeking relationships. I mean, there's many models of doing things. Well, what I think this was meant to highlight is how scared of commitment these two people are and how fucked up they are, which I'm sorry, there was not really much indication of that. We're going to get into it. And yes, just showing that they can't possibly be attracted to each other because both of them have just been burned so much. I didn't appreciate Woody Harrelson's character at all. I thought it was offensive that he was the one gay character. And instead of really having anything wise or anything meaningful to say, it was just like one weird joke after another. I didn't really like how every time, and I counted, every time that they showed him on camera, he made some sort of weird sexual comment about just needing ass, needing sex, wanting to go get laid. And also, I have to say, it just got old after a while. It just wasn't funny anymore.
So also, like, I wanted to mention that Woody Harrelson, like, was portrayed like a weirdo because of the way they dressed him. Did you see the flare jeans and the little blue jacket? And like, he seemed like the little man that's like very jumpy and inhale a bunch of helium through the whole movie. You know, that's how I saw him. Like, always like beep, 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 looking whack. Because I've never seen anybody wear flare jeans like this.
Yeah, I just wish he had more. Like most of the things he said, like the one I just said, probably was the one closest to something that people can actually think about. The rest were just like bullshit stuff, and it's just meant to create some type of kind of supposed to be a hilarious segment, but it's just like nothing really valuable from it. And from his character, who he is, yeah, I wish there was a bit more like substance to that.
Yeah, it didn't carry the plot at all. It was just so random. Every time he just popped
it was random
into the scene or popped on camera, it was just strange. I don't know. And like, who wrote his lines? I thought it was kind of a missed opportunity. I know that he was supposed to be there for all of the punchlines and to make it funny, but I just didn't think it landed very well. So we meet Woody Harrelson's character. Somehow Mila and Justin decide we should be friends. You know, we need to get you out there. Mila starts taking him everywhere, and they have this little montage of him meeting all her friends. And what stood out to me is we never saw any of her friends ever again.
I guess in that sense, wish there was more incorporation of like their friends and how like the chemistry and continuing with those types of friendships, because it seemed like it turned out really well that night. And then suddenly those friends were just all vanished and went somewhere else out of New York. It's like you don't see them anymore. Those friends could have played a bit more of the part, I think, later on in the movie, because with the chemistry they have, I feel like, yeah, it's like, where did all of them go after just one night?
And they could have been bouncing the ideas off of their friends rather than just her mom, which we're going to get to.
I'm seeing a weird aspect here of the movie too. It's portraying friends with benefits. I've been there, done this quite a few times. And the whole movie kind of tried to make it like a romantic-oriented couple. And friends with benefits have nothing to do with that. There's no romance in friends with benefits. So I was like, are you trying to make these two like, you know, the whole sleazy, like the whole like kind of sweetened, like, oh, you belong to me, I belong to you. You start like friends, you'll be together everywhere. And it's like everything was going so fast. I mean, I never get close to anybody like that fast, especially somebody I'm working with. So it was like bullshit after bullshit.
You bring up a lot of good points. And when we get to their weird couch thing, I hope that you come back about this is not really how these things happen. Okay, so I have two things that I would kind of maybe like your comment on. There's this supposed trope throughout the entire movie that somehow Mila is the fucked up one who's scared of commitment, scared of abandonment, all messed up. They portray her as a normal chick throughout the entire movie. What is supposed to be so fucked up about her? And also, what is supposed to be so fucked up about her that's not fucked up about Justin Timberlake? They show her with her friends. They show her going to work. They show her, you know, about with her mom. Where do we get this? Did you guys notice that?
I think it was earlier when they had this plot twist of like them trying. You thought it was Mila and Kunis and Justin Timberlake meeting, but then it was Adam Sandler and Emma Stone breaking up to each other with them, and then it Adam Sandler that told Mila and said, "I feel like you look totally okay from the outside, but inside you're emotionally damaged." And then I feel like she really takes that seriously afterwards, where it was really just his view of how she was during his time, but really from the audience, from our side, it feels like she's completely normal. And I think what she then takes from his ex's message was that maybe it's because of her own belief of what true love is supposed to be like, and her waiting for a Prince Charming, that somehow indicates that there's something fucked up inside her. Whereas I think many people like us or who are completely normal, and I think it's a normal thing to feel like there's some true love out there, but that word that she received from his ex, I think just stuck into her brain. It was like, oh, there's something fucked up with me.
And okay, let's get to the moment. Is this perhaps supposed to be some sort of climax, some sort of orgasm, as the tag says? The couch scene. They're hanging out, having beers, and then one thing leads to another. Let's break it down.
Tennis match. Yep.
We're going to make sex like playing tennis. Who wants to go first about this scene?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
On my mind. Okay. Two things. Okay. Two things about this scene. I hate having a small talk and all this talk before I'm having sex. This is so turned off to me. Like, what the hell is with this whole conversation? I was getting pissed. I don't know why, but it was bothering me a lot. I'm like, shut up, both of you. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, I'm going to get later to this, but do not freaking ever, I don't care what's going on, wear socks.
I can't wait to talk about the socks and the snocks, the sneeze, the snocks. Justin Timberlake has a snocks thing. But first, I thought it was stupid. Brian, if you want to chime in, first of all, they're sitting on the couch. It's like, oh, what's going to happen? And then they start talking about, what if we had sex? Which is a total throwback to Seinfeld, if you ask me. And then they're like, okay, maybe we should. Oh, I would love to get laid, but I'm so scared of relationships. And then they decide to do it. And then they have this weird ass conversation. Did you think I was pretty when you first?
Yep. And then it's like pointing out each other's like what parts of you are beauty, and then JT right away is like pointing it to her eyes, and it's like that's something more likely a romantic thing. And it's like you're trying to be friends with benefits playing tennis, and you keep complimenting her eyes like that again and again, and then it's like. And later on, it's like, there's nothing insecure about you. You should not feel. And it's like, okay, that's something you can totally see as a couple in a romantic situation. I was like, okay, what a way to go to start with your friends with benefits. It's like, yeah.
It was weird. And the whole thing also, it's Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis. They're obviously good looking. So when they're both like, what did you notice about me? What did you notice about me? And I'm like, also, why are you doing this if you're supposed to be friends? It was strange. And then even stranger, why does she have a Bible?
The Bible app. I was just about to mention a Bible app to start with your friends with benefits. Way to go.
On the iPad.
It's like promising. Yeah, well, no. They said like no emotions, just sex. So it's like there's no emotions. It could be like no joy, nothing. Just like you just fuck like robots. There's no emotions.
No joy, no nothing.
It's like even with friends with benefits, you would need some joy. Otherwise, why become friends with benefits? But there's like no emotions, and then they was like trying to swear on this Bible app.
That's what I'm talking about, though. This whole act was forced from the beginning. This is forced. Everything is like friends with benefits don't talk about this. Mm-hmm. It's more like on a physical level. It's like you're in a different intimacy. I never tried to impress my booty call or like friend back ever. I felt so comfortable, which led to great sex because I was like, I don't have to like act a certain way. But that's like beyond the point. That was so forced. Friends with benefits and randoms. Why are you trying to convince yourself? Don't vote for me. Don't like me so much. No emotions. No emotions. No emotions. Shut up. Just go with it. Relax.
Because I guess from your experience, what would you say? With friends with benefits, is there a lot more of the sexual component than the actual platonic component in your own experience?
I mean, on experience though, you have to have. I mean, I don't know. Friends with benefits, like it's that weird friendship that has this wild attraction that you can help yourself, but you know you're not for each other like for a long term or anything. But at the same time, you have this out of control like attraction. You're like, I just don't put my hands on you, and I just like want to have you, all over me, inside me, whatever. So I didn't get that. That's what I'm saying. And I've never discussed like no feelings. These are things that are kind of silently understood. And
you could talk about it. In the episode that I just did that dropped on Wednesday, we did talk about how actually open communication can be a good thing so that everybody's on the same page.
Because like when you start to, I would imagine where if both people are on the same page, maybe there's at least, you're in this situation, friends with benefits, or is it different in your experience where you kind of just know it without saying and you just form into this friends with benefits situation naturally?
I know it. We all know what we're looking for. I never had to explain myself so much. Friends with benefits in general, like to get a little bit off road. It's a little bit more of a complicated situation because you just have to be prepared that one day this person will meet somebody and
yes. So in the episode, there was a couple things about like what makes a proper friends with benefits situation that we talked about. First, an underlying established level of trust between the two people because they're friends. I'm not really sure that Mila and JT necessarily had that, but because you would trust that this person is going to be your friend either way. And yes, also that there would be an understanding that it will come to an end, which we will eventually get to. Since we're supposed to be getting tipsy, I would like to refill my drink. How is everyone else feeling?
Sounds good.
I gotta refill mine
break,
too.
yep.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get back into it. So they have this awkward conversation. What do you like about me? What did you notice about me? Again, thought it was stupid. Doesn't she say that he had a nice ass or something?
Oh yeah, ass is like a bony.
Wait, say that one more. Say that one more time.
It's like her ass is like a bony, and then she's like
bony,
something like that. A bony. Is that right?
What does that mean? Wait, his ass is like a bony?
No, her ass. Like I think JT was saying to Mila's, because like Mila was saying like you're being too emotionally supportive when he was saying, oh, there's nothing insecure about you. So he was trying to kind of figure out what the friends with benefits situation would like, how you would say it. And it was like, oh, your ass is like a bony.
Like a boner?
A boner, probably, yeah.
Your ass is like a boner.
That doesn't make sense either. I don't know. It's either bony or boner, whatever it is. But
it sounds stupid.
But like, yeah, Jamie liked it. It's like that's how it should be, and then that's how they got started with this night of their first sex together. So
and then they switch from this weird conversation about what did you notice about me to FYIs about their sex style. First is that JT leaves his socks on. I guess he can't be bothered to not be not
intimacy issues. I think something about that.
Yeah, 'cause that's very unattractive. So what? He's trying to keep women at arm's length, so he'll fuck them, but what? They won't come back because of the sock thing.
Hard to interpret. Yeah.
Do take your socks off.
Yeah, any of my male listeners. But I love how he's like refusing. Women aren't gonna come back for seconds. I'm sorry. The sock thing would stick in my mind if I had sex with someone who refused to take their socks off.
This is wrong, man. This is freaking wrong. It should be a rule against that. Freaking like take your freaking socks off. It's gross. Well, and just to mention this, they show a shower scene where he was with the freaking socks on. I'm like,
oh my God.
Oh, really?
Right. That is not normal.
In the shower scene. So he had his socks on in the shower scene. I didn't remember that.
That's some sort of disorder.
Yeah, gross too. I'm like, I don't know.
Brian, what do you think about sex with socks?
Sex with socks? I mean, that scene has stuck in my mind so much that I might give it a try. I don't know. And to see
comfort.
Yeah, like how much of that scene and memory will stick into the other person, the partner. It's like so interesting.
It will stick, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The thing that I think is kind of funny is I always say that taking off your shoes before sex, kind of awkward. Taking off your socks before sex is like the awkwardest thing. You know, you have to sit there and pretty much do it yourself. The rest of it, like taking off someone's pants, undoing the shirt, hot.
It's all within reach, and then the socks is like you have to be very flexible with your body and moves all parts of your body just to take those two socks around. It's like,
and everyone's always like, okay,
waiting.
hold on.
Yeah, it's something like, that's like the taboo moment of I'm getting undressed. Unless you're wearing like, some kind of like guards and I don't know, stockings or something, but that's like a different topic.
So the socks, we're going to continue, I think, to come back to that. Not a good look. Even though it's awkward to take off your socks, you still got to do it. You still got to get over that hurdle. And then what I certainly can't avoid is when JT tells her, I sneeze after I come.
Yeah.
And he was the man with words. He did it.
He sneezed in her face at one point.
Like,
why would you? What is this? Some sort of psychosomatic issue that you have that you sneeze after you come? Please
I cannot relate to that. There's nothing I can relate to that about. It's like that's the complete opposite. When I have the least sexual motive or like activities when I think of sneezing. So I don't know. JT has his own way of doing things, but
I'm not sure
I can never interpret that.
Oh my God. And also a couple times they show him coming, and the only reason that she knows he's coming is because he sneezes. They don't show him like, I'm almost there. He just at one point, I think she was going down on him or something, and he just sat up and sneezed. Yep. And she's like, oh.
That's it.
He took it like a champ, though. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of the reality of this. So it's like, I was like, dang, girl.
Yeah, and then the part when she was on top of his body is when he was saying, "Oh, I feel less emasculated."
Fuck, I'm sorry.
Like,
what to say?
And then he came right after they did this what they call like fireworks. I don't even remember. And then they flipped, and then he was like, "Oh," he didn't sneeze, but you could tell that he came. And then she was like, "Do you feel more manly now?" And he was like, "Yep." And she's like, "Then put it in."
Oh God, this is so weird. All of this, but I love how every step of the way they're so just like saying everything to each other, like, "Oh, I like this," or "Let's try this."
Oh yeah.
But as though of just a couple wouldn't be communicating sexually. It's like, oh, because they're friends, they're going to tell each other what they like and make sure that they get the pleasure. Oh, when he's going down on her that first night and she's like, oh, a little to the left, go down a bit. Oh, no, to the right. Yeah, okay, that's it. And I'm like, this is how every couple should be having oral sex, with the other person giving direction, especially the first time. Why is this because they're friends?
Yeah.
See, but that's normal talk, though. It's normal to say like to the left or go in circles or slow down or like make it rougher, but then the other like random chat, I'm like, shut up and like just get it on, because when you're like so turned on, who has time to talk?
What if someone sings with you when you're like having sex? What would your feeling be when someone starts singing like JT did in the movie?
That was the other whack moment. I'm like, oh my. But what I wanted to ask, a burning question. At some point, JT goes into the bathroom claiming he ate too much watermelon, he has to pee.
Yes.
Was he holding his teeth or having a diarrhea?
I think the latter option is more convincing to me.
Okay, can you just say, I definitely want to talk about this. Can you say that full sentence one more time, please? Because that was the next thing on my list. Does he?
Goes into the restroom while they're having sex, and he's claiming that he ate a lot of watermelon, he has to pee. Then he kind of hides, you hear this sound that when you're having like whistling hardcore diarrhea. But then he's sitting there, but he's claiming through the whole time that he's just taking a leak and he's peeing. So if you're sitting like this and you're doing this, were you trying to follow your date to like go into the freaking like toilet bowl? That's my question. Or you're actually dumping like crazy? And
The
then
way-
going nonchalant to your girlfriend with your hands not washed.
Yeah.
Freaking gross, motherfucker. Like, get a grip on yourself. That movie's wrong.
Came
I'm sorry.
straight
I'm
out
just shut up.
after
Yeah.
that.
It was so weird. JT goes into the bathroom, doesn't bother to close the door, and is saying that he has to pee, and then starts like yelling because he can't pee. She's asking him, why can't you pee? He's saying, have you ever tried to pee with a heart on? And she just, and then he is standing up, and I guess he's like, can't hold it in place. Brian, hopefully you can shed some light on this.
Totally.
And then you can see him, and she's just standing there watching. And then he turns around and sits on the toilet. She's like, what the hell? He says it's easier. Brian, do you want to take over?
The way his legs were angled, like there's no way it would have not been a diarrhea. Like the legs were angled straight up. It's like 90 degrees. It's like you cannot aim that thing straight and pee into the toilet. There's no way. Like with the way the legs
Also, he
angle
said
and
he
the way
had a
the
heart on, didn't he?
yeah, exactly. Like how it's like no, it's the latter option, Dessi, the one you mentioned. Yeah, it's straight up diarrhea.
Like,
Okay, so Brian, is he saying that it's hard to pee with a boner or that it's hard to pee after sex? Because wouldn't your boner go down if you're like in the toilet in front of someone?
I would think so, especially with the door open. But I can see why his door is always open, just like at his
right.
job. It's like whether it's at his job, whether it was his next to Mila, his girl. It's like the door is always open.
great point, Brian. I love it.
I just thought of that. So like, yeah, okay, I can see that.
My God, the door is always open. I might take some- But nobody would. Oh, I feel like so weird. I never really talk like this. So I'm doing it publicly for the first time for sure. And my friends will never have heard this. No one would take a dump in front of someone they're trying to fuck. Would they? Or is it because they're friends?
And not wash his hands after that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have
I don't know.
friends with benefits. I've never seen it in front of them.
I've never
No.
shot in front of anyone. I don't even
Exactly.
pee in front of people I'm like in a serious relationship with.
I'll make sure my hinges are functioning properly and the door is closed.
The door
You're right, and the
always
water's on.
closed.
Wash your freaking hands.
Yeah.
So that was weird. And also, okay, Brian, is it really that hard to pee during, after sex? Like, what is the situation, if you don't mind telling us?
Yeah. That part I'm trying to remember from my past experience.
Well, because
but I
you
would
don't often, most people can wait until after to go.
yeah, I never had the urge to have to go in the middle like of a sexual experience. It just
Yeah.
never came upon to me to do that. So I've never had an urge.
Mazel tov. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
to say that wouldn't be something that I could relate to. Okay, well, if anyone has any more thoughts about the peeing scene, we can just cut and go back into it because that shit was whack. Okay. And then yeah, he comes and gets back into bed with her. I'm sorry. I could not have sex with someone who I just heard do number 2. Okay. I'd be like, get your butt away. I guess let's talk about this girl's crazy mom, another trope that I thought was a little played. And also, I would have really rather her go through this with her friends. But one of the other times that she's fucking Justin Timberlake in her apartment, her mom lets herself in and, oh my God, my mom's here. We're naked. Do you guys have any thoughts about this? The whole mom thing was, I thought, one of the worst parts of the movie, personally.
I do like her character in the movie.
What's kind of funny is, first of all, I don't remember her name, but the actress who plays the mom, I'm actually quite a fan of. I've seen lots of stuff that she's in. What was her name? Patricia
Clarkson. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
She's amazing.
So she was actually a character in Frasier, which used to be my favorite show. I just think she's great. She's
She plays lots of cool roles. Cool. My drink is getting to me. Like she was even in House of Cards the last season. Anyways, so I was excited to see her. But what's really interesting is later on we are going to see Gina Elfman, who played on Dharma and Greg, who is kind of the same character as she is in real life, which is sex is cool. Like I want my kids to have sex, and her parents, talk about sex all the time. I thought that was interesting, but probably just me. Who knows who these two women are? So
no, me too. Dharma and Greg.
Okay, yay! I can't wait to talk about Jenna Elfman. And okay, so the mom is there. We get the point. She's been a bad mom, and that must be why Mila Kunis is so messed up. Oh, because her mom is crazy. And also, this was weird, and I thought actually quite problematic. We figure out that she doesn't know who her dad is, and that even her mom isn't sure who her dad is. And that keeps on coming up through the entire movie. I didn't like that. I also did not like that they constantly refer to her as being kind of racially ambiguous, with her mom saying that her dad is from like a different country each time. I thought it was just kind of inappropriate.
Yeah, I guess some of the jokes that they made, her mom made, I would see why in some scenarios it's not really appropriate.
And even she was saying kind of racist stuff too, like Puerto Ricans keep their bananas in the fridge.
Yeah.
But then her mom says your dad's not Puerto Rican. It was just all over the place. Yeah, Greek. I think in the end he was Russian.
Yeah, it was.
Let's talk about the scene. Justin and Mila have had, a couple months, a couple weeks of all this great kind of awkward sex. And they decide that they need to end it because Mila, the one who's supposed to be so fucked up, figures out that she would actually like to date again. And what does she say? Like find companionship or partnership, which again, if she's so fucked up, why is she, so self-assured and knows what she wants is how I saw it.
And it was fairly recent. It was like, I think they've only been doing this Friends with Benefits for like a few weeks. And then suddenly she's like, I'm ready. I know what I want. That's also one thing that's less convincing to me. Like, how emotionally fucked up are you? Every single aspect of her in the movie just seems like a lot more normal and ready than many other people who thinks they're ready. So that's the part of me where I'm like, I think she knows what she wants.
That's how Friends with Benefits work, though. It happens. It's not planned. It doesn't let off slow. It just sometimes you just have to roll with this. And that's the scary part, that if you're not in it for the right reasons, somebody gets burned in a real bad way.
I mean, they ended it on great terms, as we're going to talk about. They even help each other pick up. I just don't understand why they keep on coming back to her being so messed up, when I think she might have even been the most emotionally healthy and person with the highest, emotional intelligence maybe in the whole film. I don't know.
Do you feel like JT plays a role in that period with him and her having Friends with Benefits, that suddenly she's ready for it?
If being in a Friends with Benefits situation is what influenced her till champagne is kicking in, learn how to use her voice, I could see that, but I don't think that they played it that way. I don't think that we were meant to take it that way.
I think I have another thing thinking about that. Like they were trying to portray her that she's trying so hard to be Friends with Benefits, but at the same time, I think she was falling for him, and this was her protective net. No, I mean, like, she's thinking like, hey, I'll back off and I'll be like, fuck that, I'm a strong woman, I'm independent, I'll finish that first because I don't want to be the one drooling over and getting hurt.
Even that itself, though, I would say puts her with more emotional intelligence, because that was their agreement. And so she sees maybe that she's catching feels. And so she removes herself from the situation because she knows that moving forward with that is not the agreed upon terms.
Yeah, especially after that same day when they went out and then trying to meet other people, and JT was talking to this pretty woman up on the staircase, and then you could literally just see Mila Kunis's eyes. Was like all the jealousy.
Brian, why don't you tell the audience what they go out and do in the park?
Well, so basically the two were walking kind of awkwardly next to each other after having sex the night before, finished their Friends with Benefits relationship, and they're like, we're going to meet new people now. And then JT was like, oh, I'm going to talk to this girl right up there.
I really got to say this. He goes up to a woman who's standing on some stairs in Central Park, just awkwardly on the actual stairs, standing up with a book in her hand.
Yeah.
What? That is not a thing that people do.
Yeah. And then he goes up there and basically starts talking to her. And at the same time, you could see Mila Kunis down there just having awkward facial expressions. But then suddenly, like JT comes down and say, oh, he's going up the stairs to meet his future husband. And then suddenly Jamie's face just completely turns relieved, just like, and it started laughing. And right there, you could tell that Mila Kunis had feelings for JT, the way he relieved his tension and stress when he realized, oh, that girl has a husband already, and they're happily kissing each other.
It's a little offensive to me that they put her as the one who's catching feels. You know, the woman can't possibly stand this.
I guess in a bit it makes sense, because when she mentions himself as emotionally damaged, she means like the true love with someone. So maybe part of her can feel that connection with JT, but then at the same time, I don't know. It's like she's either trying to deny it, or she's like, she noticed that, but what they promised before, she decides to end it and find someone else. Whereas JT is like the one who's not able to commit. So in a way, in that sense, I feel like it kind of makes sense. Yeah. But then Mila ends up saying, I'm going to find someone else and I'm going to talk to this person, which actually turns into something. This guy, like the tree staring guy, was like looking at the tree and just staring there. And then she basically comes up, and then they started sparking a conversation there, and then chemistry you could kind of see they had a good time. And then they started setting up dates together. And slowly, as their dates go on, like it's interesting. Like Mila's first person she wants to share all these with was JT. It's like every time they're going on a date with this tree staring guy, it's like she shares it with JT. It's like, oh, look,
hold on. No, I have a couple things that I want your comment on, and Dessi as well. Okay. I did like this guy in the beginning, obviously. I think that's what we're meant to fill. I thought it was really cheesy. I feel like in so many movies, when there's a doctor who's kind of the love interest, he has to be a pediatric doctor. And that annoys me. That is in so many shows and movies. He's a doctor, but he works with kids. Oh, that just makes him all the more better. And he says, an oncologist, a cancer doctor, works with children. Like, but they decide to go on a date. And I actually, for the male listeners, and perhaps Brian, though I think that you do have more game than you believe yourself than you believe you have. Okay, they go on the first date. So the doctor says, when can I see you again? They've had a great dinner. And then she stands up and she puts her hands in front of his eyes. And then she takes that
right here.
I was
right
like,
now.
Hell yeah, girl.
It's all about the present moment. It's like a kind of a joke, but it's like a really pleasant joke, I think.
That was one of my favorite. That's like props on to Mila for that. I was like, oh yeah, that's the best.
Well, again, this girl has got game. I mean, so many guys would be like, oh, like how adorable. Dessi, could you see yourself doing that on a date?
No. If I were to start dating,
And as the male, I could see myself doing that as well.
Ooh, Brian, is this going to be your next move?
That's going to be cute.
I'll try it, and then we'll see how it goes, so I can share the experience. And maybe the other person has watched that movie as well, and it's something that girl's like, oh, great, let's do a podcast together about friends with benefits.
You know what? I make things happen, okay? If something feels good, I do it. They juxtapose Mila getting on with Dr. Boy with another fucking weird scene with JT on the couch with his hookup, his experiment meeting people.
The armpit girl, I guess.
Let's talk about this. This woman is purring in his ear, sniffing his armpit.
That's when I wish I was drunk. I was like watching that scene of, I don't know. I've never had experience with someone licking my armpit.
Same.
I started feeling this taste of deodorant powder in my tongue and I was like, fuck that shit. And Why
do you two think they juxtapose this. She's having this nice, decent experience. He's having this insanity in his apartment. And also, he never tells her he doesn't like it. He just goes on with it. At one point, she's like, "What are you thinking?" And he says something like, "Oh, how great you are."
And the facial expression when you said that, he was like, "Oh, God, this is the only thing I can say right now that's positive. There's nothing else."
Right? That's how I felt too.
Why doesn't he tell her he's not into the armpit sniffing?
And there's like the chest pounding as well. It's like, what the heck was that?
Yeah. It wasn't just armpit stuff. She was purring
all
in his
over the
ear,
place.
and she was smacking him on the chest.
Yeah, smacking. And
that?
at the same time, it's like, "I'm ready to have you meet my parents," as he was smacking on his chest.
And of course, he takes a phone call from his sister. And one thing I want to say about this movie, all the characters take phone calls at like the most inappropriate times that no one would just let it go to voicemail.
Yeah, I would not pick up that phone call at that time. It's like it's it will just be so much gossip happening after that if I had a sister. It's like, I'm not going to be having you hearing these pounding and blowing at my armpit sounds in the background.
Who is sniffing really hard?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like surprising that the sister didn't question any of this in the phone call. It's like, what's the sniffing about?
Mila has a 5-date rule. Okay, Brian, would you like to tell us what the 5-date rule is?
I think so. She got it. I'm pretty sure she gets it from that rom-com earlier in the movie when they were watching this very silly movie. And then in that movie, which was, I think, Jason Segel and
I love Jason
Jones.
Segel.
Yeah, but it was a terrible rom-com in that scene, and it was like watching it. And then in that movie scene, I remember him saying, or the other Rashida Jones was like, "I have a 5-date rule." So I think that's where Mila Kunis got that from that terrible rom-com, and she was like, "I'm going to take this, and I'm also going to have a 5-date rule." So that's the place where she and the tree steering guy was like finally making out, and then suddenly she's like, "This is the 5th date," which is supposed to be that set date that they're supposed to have sex.
Well, and she had told him earlier that she wanted him to know that she had a 5-date rule, and he, has another great line. He says, though, "You're worth waiting for." Desi, what do you think of the 5-date rule?
Honestly, my opinion, since I've been, started being sexually active, to me, it's like, you can kick ass, you can be super amazing female, and you don't portray yourself like the whatever. But if I'm feeling it, and if it's an amazing moment, I'll go for it. It can be a month, it can be a couple hours. I don't know.
Awesome. I love it.
Chemistry is there. Use that moment and jump it, because this is what I'm looking for. I want this to be amazing and not staged. I want this to be rehearsed. My body and my emotions are working right now.
Yeah, embracing the unknown. Like, you don't know it, and that's like, it's great to just kind of keep it as unknown if it's supposed to have that chemistry in 2 hours or 2 months.
I love that. The only thing I would say is, I'm like, that's how you are. I will just say that she knew what she wanted and what her boundary was in this situation, and that was 5 dates. And again, if she's so messed up and has such little emotional intelligence, why would she know what her boundary was and then be willing to execute it and ready to execute it? This is someone who is so self-assured, who knows her boundaries, knows what she wants. So in this, some of us want to just go with how we feel, which is great. And she had this boundary that she wanted to keep. And he told her, "You're worth waiting for." But Brian, what ends up happening?
Basically, he's like, "Okay, I'll play along with this."
Did you guys see that coming? Desi, I would love to see what you thought. I thought that he was going to become more involved in the plot, and that he and Justin, that it was going to become some sort of love triangle. I didn't think that they were playing him off to be some sort of potential douche. And what happens is, after the 5 dates, they sleep together for some reason on the couch, which I didn't understand. It was so special to her.
Oh, I guess Mila Kunis was insecure about her body, that she mentioned earlier, like with JT, because they were like friends. So she's like, "I don't need to be insecure with my body." So then they go to the room with the lights on. But then on the couch, she's like, "Oh, he's might be the actual serious partner for me. So I'm more insecure about my body. So we'll just keep the lights dimmed and dark on the sofa." that could be the reason why. Whereas JT and Mila Kunis, they were on the bed because she's like, I don't care, the lights are on. It's like, we're just friends. But this guy, this oncologist is like, oh, that could be turn into something.
It actually seemed like kind of sweet. You know, they fell asleep together. And what happens? This really annoyed me. Okay. They have sex. It's cute and everything. JT calls her in the morning. She takes the call, even though she's having this intimate moment with this man who she had 5 dates with. She picks up the phone. It's him. She jumps out of the couch, puts on her clothes, goes into the hallway, goes downstairs to take this call with JT. Did anyone find that weird or annoying that she's actually going to leave this guy, go all the way outside just to have this chat like, oh, how are you? What's up?
I'll go for that, but I probably won't go on the street because I won't care what anybody else you think, hearing me talking to him or her, whatever, you know, the situation is.
Right.
And then her mom was in her bed.
That was random. Yeah.
So she's on the street talking with JT, and he's telling her this random shit. Like, does anyone even remember why he called her? It was just like some shit.
I don't know why he called her.
Either one, but it's like the first thing she thought of is, okay, I'm going to share all this with JT. Like, if I was the other guy who was awake, yeah, it's not the most comfortable thing, I guess. I feel like it's just like she knows what she wants, but at the same time, she doesn't. She's like, her heart is still kind of leaning towards with her connection with JT. But it could also be just a complete platonic friendship thing. I don't know.
I thought that's how they were playing it off. But then when you see Doctor opening his eyes, I was thinking he's turned off because she's talking to this guy. But it turns out that he's looking for his opportunity to totally ditch her. And so she's talking to JT. She turns around and he is bailing out of the apartment. It was hilarious. He's
still buckling his shirt. He's not even done buckling. It's like he's rushing out and she's still buckling. So I got to tie all the shirt together.
He's not even done putting his shirt on, and he is Audi 5000.
That's hilarious.
And Desi, what happens next?
It was weird because within the conversation drama with JT and this dude douche getting up and trying to leave, she managed to buy coffee. She had 2 coffees in her hands. And when she got pissed that she caught him in act of leaving and trying to ditch her, she threw the coffee out, which kind of pissed me off because I love coffee. And I'm like, I'll just have double coffee.
In the beginning of the movie, she throws away Adam... whatever. She throws away
the sandwich.
The sandwich.
Slapped it, yeah.
And now she's burned again. And so she throws away the coffee.
A lot of food waste here. That's
like she would burn or throw the sandwich, and she would blink the same time whenever she curses.
Oh my God. Okay, so long story short, he burns her. I was surprised personally. I guess that was one good thing about the plot. I didn't see that coming. And then she goes upstairs, and her mom has ditched her as well. And what does she do? Calls Justin. And he says,
yeah, come to LA and meet my family. I don't know. It's interesting. I guess.
Yeah.
As a platonic friend, if they were true platonic friends, it's not as weird. And I guess they kind of were and kind of not. But then in an actual friends with benefits situation, would you ever consider, if you have a friends with benefits, to just take them across the other side of the coast and meet your parents? Yeah,
he buys her a ticket, and I have to say, just from a consent standpoint, that annoyed me. She said no, and he bought her a ticket anyway.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that in real life, but I can see it's a movie scene, I guess.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
And so he buys her a ticket with his points, and somehow they still end up sitting together. That's not how it works. I know from personal experience. And they go to LA, and in pops Dharma / Jenna Elfman.
I love Jenna.
I liked her in Dharma and Greg. But otherwise, I don't know.
I've never seen that one.
It's a really cute sitcom from the early 2000s. It's got this really cute premise. So Dharma Finkelstein, her parents are hippies. She's a hippie too. All open love and free love and just a stereotypical hippie. She falls in love with Greg. who is a lawyer who comes from old money, and they're just really different, and they fall in love and get married actually on their first date. And it's just this cute thing, like seeing all the families not get along. I think it's an adorable show. It only lasted 3 seasons, but the first season, actually, they won a couple Grammys. Is that the TV one? Grammys? They won some TV awards for great cast, great everything. And then it kind of went downhill. And then just randomly, one thing about Dharma and Greg is they didn't give any closure to the fans. They just got to the end of one of the seasons, and then they just didn't make another season. It was really strange, but the show was great. Like I said, it won awards. I actually still watch it as kind of, like this feel good when I getting ready for bed in the background show. As far as I know, I haven't known very many things that Jenna Elfman has done, but they go to LA and boom, she's there, and she's the sister. And the situation is Jenna Elfman, the dad with Alzheimer's, and this creepy ass little boy are living there together.
Yeah.
Creepy ass magician that always fucks up in the end, but it was a cute scene. I mean, it's just kind of.
When he set himself on fire, I was like,
yeah. And getting himself all wet when he was pouring coffee, but it was, I get it. And forgetting his sword when he was supposed to kind of chop Mila Kunis up with.
Dad has memory loss, and they all just start hanging out. Mila becomes a part of the family.
And Jenna Elfman apparently really likes Mila Kunis. You can tell in the scene. It's like, oh, I can totally see my brother and her having chemistry. She's like the one that's really pushing for it. And then JT's the one who's constantly trying to convince his sister, like, we're not together.
I wanted to ask you guys. So at one point, the family goes to dinner, and they're having like this romantic dance. And that stood out to me. Like, do friends have romantic dance with each other? Like, something was obviously going to happen.
Romantic dance scene, was that after the dinner?
Yes,
because they had their dinner, and then I remember
they were dancing, slow dancing. Well, let's skip that and let's go to the actual dance scene of the movie, if not this part. Crisscross will make you dance. I have to say, this was so weird. So for whatever reason, Justin goes into Mila's room, and it's just like, oh, let's hang out. And she, doesn't think it's a good idea. He tries to have sex with her, right?
He says, oh, you cracked your head earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And then suddenly he takes that as an indication that she wants sex, when really it was just a long flight from New York to LA. And she was like, you can't just assume that I want sex because I cracked my head. And then it just became quite awkward at the time. It was like he just completely assumes, when she was still in a vulnerable place after that kind of a short encounter with the tree-stirring man, but still was kind of hurt. And then she was like, right now, I don't want sex. I want emotional support. And he was like, oh, I'm out. she was about to just leave the room. And she was like, I can still use your emotional support as a friend. That was kind of already was a kickstart of that turning point.
Well,
but then obviously
they're in the bedroom. I mean, yeah, this is so stupid. What does he do? He turns on Crisscross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes and he like jumps around and starts singing to it and like dancing to it in front of her.
That was pretty awkward.
Oh my God, it was. Thank you, Brian. And he knows all of the words, and he's getting in her face like and acting it out. And then she gets up and they both like start dancing.
Jumping up and down with that music, yeah.
Okay. In my notes. Okay, first of all, yes, so awkward. Justin Timberlake is an actual performer, right? And he's from a band who dances and sings. And it was the cringiest man dancing and singing ever.
Yeah, it was a little hard to watch, but at the same time, it was like they were both awkward at the same time, dancing on up and off the bed. It was like, okay.
Well, that's what I said. Like, do friends do this? Like, standing in the bedroom just dancing in front of each other?
Actually, yeah. I've done it.
Well, then they start playing this game. Are they playing tag? What is it where they both are bending down and then like trying to scare each other?
Yeah. I didn't quite know what that game was
Me
that they're
neither.
playing.
Right,
They're just doing their doing friends thing, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This is what friends do. So like Mila would kneel down before the bed and Justin would be walking around and then she would like jump up and go bah! As though he didn't know she was there or something. I didn't know what this game was.
Sound like that was a good acid trip.
That's a trip.
I mean,
They did not show them.
it looks like it to me.
That's a good. Yeah, I couldn't think of another explanation. Yeah,
That would be a fun thing to do on acid. I didn't remember them dropping it.
I don't know.
Though that would also have made the Justin crisscross dance a little better too. Then they both get drunk, and what's gonna happen?
But like the way they kiss and just everything, it just felt different. It's like, okay, there's definitely romantic chemistry there, and this is not. Doesn't seem like it's turning into friends with benefits. Yeah.
Well, what was kind of cringy too is that they portrayed her as being so drunk and like she's the one who wants it. I just feel like they didn't need to play up the drinking thing so much. But then when they actually get into it, it's a lovely scene and it's much more passionate and heartfelt and affectionate than the previous scenes with him sneezing in her face.
It's a lot more natural later on. And the way the chemistry they had, I feel like it's really kind of meant to be both platonic and romantic. So when they were trying to act like they're just platonic and having no emotions while having sex, it just felt really cinematic. And then later on, you feel like that's really how the way they interact with each other, that's really how it's supposed to be for them.
And maybe that's how they felt all along in a way.
Yeah, I think they were trying to kind of suppress that. And then later on, there's just letting that natural instinct of them out.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty scene. I liked how it was filmed and everything. But then Justin goes out of the room. Jenna Elfman sees them. So then the Hollywood sign scene. Does anyone want to give some background?
It was amazing. He climbed on all these New York buildings. He stayed there, like not tripping about anything for like a while, laying down with her, jumping around. And now he's at the sign and he's like, oh, fear of heights. But the favorite moment was him flying with the little warm blanket on the helicopter.
What's it called? The foil blanket or something? And then it was broadcasted on TV and his sister just had all the laughter.
So what happens? Mila convinces him to climb the Hollywood sign. They're not supposed to. She goes over it anyways. Oh, she's such a rebel. And they go and they sit in one of the O's. Of course, the cops come because they're not supposed to be up there.
The helicopters were right in front of them. Yes.
And she decides to evade the police, even though they're in a helicopter.
And so I feel weird about helicopters too.
She gets away.
She did get away, yeah.
They show her just like scurrying and there's like, oh. But because he's so randomly scared of heights.
Probably because he thought, oh, this is 92 feet. I can't jump off this O.
Just like 92 degrees, which that was a band.
Well, it was because he was displaying his math skills. It was like, 3 times 12. That's kind of what I was thinking.
He doesn't know how high it is because
it's like, maybe 3 times 12 is 92. And so he might feel like, if I jump off from a 92 feet, I'm gonna die. So I'm just gonna wait till this helicopter wraps me up with the foil blanket.
He can't see how
Nope, he can't. He's like, this is 92 feet. I'm dying.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so he's frozen with fear because he thinks it's 92 feet, even though she just like bounces down. She's like, and he's okay. I understand why they had him start stuttering, but it was kind of awkward. So she is running away from the helicopter and he starts stuttering. can't, like, it was so weird. And I was thinking, I know they said that he had a stutter when he was little, but they really honed in on him as he started stuttering like 2 or 3 times. He's sitting there, can't get his words out. I want to know what you guys think. Was that supposed to be funny, or was that supposed to be touching? Because it was so random and they didn't really talk about it afterward. He's just looking down at her, stuttering.
Good observation, because
I think it was meant to be kind of in between.
Okay.
Like kind of funny, but at the same time kind of like touchy, like showing like something from his childhood. Like,
but they never even talked about it.
Like, it was so random that I didn't even catch it at first.
It was stupid.
At the time. And there was no other plots to really back that up. It's just like, I'm just going to the script is throwing something about, this guy, he used to have a stutter, now he's showing it in front of a helicopter, and then nothing after that.
This whole movie sounds random, if you ask me.
It's lots of randomness. Okay, so who wants to talk about what happens next with his foiled jacket?
I can't help be myself, I can. I mean, first of all, I'm so biased towards him. And then you're seeing this wacko freaking flying with that, like, jacket. And it's like a bizarre situation. His sister sitting there and, like, I don't know. It was just weird, but I just love the scene that he's flying with the jacket. That made my whole day. That and Woody Harrelson riding in a boat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
he's like jumping right off the bridge, and then someone is in his boat. The way he jumped, there's no way who would have not been wet. It was like,
okay, hold on, you guys.
It was like completely dry after that. This jet jump.
Okay, so they showed Justin Timberlake for some reason in a metal jacket or a foil jacket. What, because he had gone into shock? And they're sitting there with him on the news, and he's on the news flying, like holding onto a rope in a foil jacket. And he's just like, oh, turn it off. Like, I don't want to see this. Let's talk about Mila Kunis in the box and what happens after we see JT in the foil coat, which nobody seems to think is really that crazy. Brian, do you want to tell us about Justin and Jenna Elfman and their little chat?
Yeah. So basically that's when, like, that was right after the scene, right? When they saw him in a foil blanket on the TV, and then Kunis was just like lying in this box, and then this little kid was like, "Oh, I forgot my sword. I have to go get it." As
for
usual,
like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like he just disappeared after that. So she was in this box, which was like right next to the living room, and then JT's sister and him comes out and starts talking about friends with benefits having sex. What's that all about? Like, his sister was just full of curiosity, and then he's trying really hard to just convince her, like, yeah, that's how we feel about each other. I don't see her that way. But his sister's like, that all the chemistry you've had, and you've never brought an actually girlfriend back to see your families. Like, you can't have convinced me that you guys are just being friends and while peeking to each other's room the night before. So then I think he was just trying really hard to convince her, like, and he's just started flashing out, where I feel like if you guys are friends, you should, even if you guys aren't partners, like, as a friend, you shouldn't say anything like that. He said, like, she was so mentally fucked up. Like, I can never see myself dating her because she's just so damaged. And then that, I can totally, like, if I was in Mila Kunis' shoes, I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pack my bags.
One of the weird things that made me laugh so hard about this movie, JT sits and tells Jenna that she's so fucked up in the head, I couldn't possibly be with her. And he's like, yeah. And then, they part ways. And then they cut to Mila Kunis in this purple box, just laying there. I forgot that the brother had even come in with the sword, or the little creepy kid. She is just chilling in this box, listening to this whole thing. She was chilling in this box for so long that you forget that the little creepy kid was ever even there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to get my sword. And then she probably went back on into his boat. And
I was like, how did she end up in the box? And then when she hears everything, this is when she decides to let herself
go
out
from
of the
that.
box and just goes back to her room. What happened? She gets pissed off and she goes back to New
Understandably.
York. Yeah, I wouldn't want to stay there with people who are talking shit about me.
Yeah, very understandably. I feel like even as a friend, you get hurt from hearing things like that. And I don't know how JT would see, like, I feel like they had good chemistry when they were in LA. Like, I don't see how JT would see her as mentally fucked up. It's like the chemistry they had, I thought was good. And there's nothing really about her that would make you think that way.
Exactly.
I feel like if you really were to compare the two, JT's the one who's clearly not being able to commit to anything and not be able to connect emotionally when you see them talking side by side on the Hollywood sign. And she seems completely natural. She's like she's able to connect emotionally, but he's like the one shutting off. And it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about that.
It never came up between them that she was fucked up in the head. And that for the rest of the movie, that's like kind of the thing.
Didn't feel as natural, like, because she just seemed put together overall, I feel like.
Who wants to walk us through the next weird period in this friends with benefits thing?
Well, besides Woody Harrelson jumping in a boat like a freaking...
Okay, actually, let's just go with this.
I mean, he was like catching his boat going somewhere because he was trying to avoid traffic. That was a completely like New York Spider-Man part of the movie. That wasn't even... I didn't see any connection with that movie. But anyway, what happens in New York is like... She's just like seeing that, unfortunately, she's fallen for him. And now she's pissed because he hurt her. Mm. He crossed big time. I was getting pissed listening to him, talking to his sister. I'm like, you don't even go there. And like, I agree with you guys that she's portrayed so like the little poor, like mentally lost female. But at the same time, she's the strong one. She knows what she wants and she's going for it all the wrong ways sometimes, it seems like. But, you know, she's displaying so much more security than him. And he looks like the awkward guy that's trying to force it, be emotionless. That's how
I'm sorry, if you call someone even a couple times and they don't answer, I mean, he's basically harassing her.
Yeah. And then like this whole play thing, like he was afraid of heights. He was carried with a freaking foil blanket from a helicopter from the Hollywood sign, but he climbs the freaking building on a very top and he's trying to talk to her all calm. It doesn't work like this with people that have phobia of heights. I just guarantee.
Yeah. And it was like pretty tiny, small. Like it was fairly small on the rooftop. It's like there isn't much railing or anything. So
I couldn't do that. I wouldn't want to go up there.
No,
I'm not even really like scared of heights person, but I'd be uncomfortable.
Just as a normal person, yeah.
I'm just a normal person.
Jade, though, he's surprised that when they were talking on the roof and she was getting teary-eyed and she was like, you know, finally being like, I'm just gonna put myself in front of you. Fuck you. I like you, and that's it. And he was looking at her, kind of like trying to play it out, like, what is that behavior, you know? Like you said, everything's going to be just like purely physical and we can't have feelings. These were your rules. You wanted that. Every single time he opened his mouth, I was like, chauvinist. I want to choke you. Like that was so wrong. And I hated him. Like I severely hated him. I don't know why. She's trying to open up. You're feeling this for her too. But your jerk mouth is just kicking in so hardcore that you just can't help yourself.
Well, also because he's harassing her. So why is he putting this all on her when he's the one trying so hard to keep it going and just like making her life kind of miserable? I mean, they showed him calling her like 10 times a day.
And at the same time, he's the one who's like acting like she is wrong when they then later on meet again from like job reasons, I think, when she was like considering another job. Like if he were to leave his current job within a year, then she doesn't get a bonus, so then she has to meet JT, and then like JT was the one who was trying to reach out, and then he ended up lashing out to her. And I was like, why are you doing this? If you're want to fix things, why are you then coming back and lashing out to her when you're the one who said all these hurtful words? And obviously when he said these, he didn't know that she was in that box. He didn't know she heard any of this. So he has no clue. He was like, why are you trying to avoid me? Like he literally doesn't know. And then later on the rooftop is when she then brings up and used the exact same words that he uses to kind of give him a hint of what he says. Then he was like, oh, I fucked up. But then after he hears that, he still when they meet after that, he still blames her for whatever reason for not wanting to be friends or something. It just felt a bit childish. It's like, if you want to repair and fix things and you know you are the one who mentioned these words that were hurtful, why are you now trying to play the victim? It didn't make sense to me.
I loved your insights so much, Brian. He's trying to tell her on the balcony that what's wrong with you? Like, and then he says, I brought you to LA to meet my family. I don't get this. What is he saying exactly? That he actually wanted a relationship with her? He was just all over the place. Mindfuck central.
That's what I'm saying. Mindfuck exactly is the word, because he was acting like he wants her. He wants to have a relationship. He wants to bring things to the next level of dating, and he's feeling her close and all that. And at the same time, he's just pushing everything away in the most horrible thing he can do it. Very disrespectful, very childish, very mature, very like, I have issues, and I need to see my therapist. But it's like, he's trying to tell her, I'm nobody without you. I really want you in my life more than a friend. But at the same time, he's like, back off.
Or I guess in that case, he maybe internally he knows that he sees her differently and she's someone who's special to him. But at the same time, because of his own emotional unavailability, he's pushing her off. And then later on, they use Richard Jenkins, who plays JT's father, to try to bring out his vulnerability of his character.
Let's go to the weird ass shit with his dad. Okay, this was so weird. Let's just start. The dad has not just the initial phases of Alzheimer's, but he's getting there. I mean, he's losing his memory every few minutes or so. But despite all of that, the dad is being flown alone from LA to New York City.
Exactly.
What in the world? Okay.
Oh, man.
He is so into his disease that he's taking off his pants and can't walk around in a restaurant without falling down and needs like pretty much around the clock care. But they put him on a plane because Jenna Elfman is taking creepy kid to magic camp. And so instead of getting a nurse or a friend, they have to fly the dad to New York so Justin Timberlake can take care of him for a couple days.
And Justin couldn't even remember. He kept on asking, what time is he coming for sure?
Oh, yeah. Another display of his wonderful mathematical skills. Whatever the answer he gave, it was like, oh, it's like 36 hours of math or something. And his sister just plays on. Yeah, I'll see you I'll talk to you 36 hours later.
I mean, come on now. And then what was that creepy restaurant they were eating in? Looked like a airport restaurant.
Why are they in an airport restaurant? The dad gets off the plane and he's in a wheelchair. Like, why? This isn't like he has Alzheimer's. But the Justin is like way outside, doesn't even like go to the gate.
It was like the father just shows up right in the restaurant, and there was supposed to be like a really long line that you have to wait. And he's like, I'm just going to sit down without pants, which I get it. I mean, he has Alzheimer's. But then his son, JT, comes and is like, he takes his pants off and sits down. And I'm like, in that situation when you don't have a reservation and you take your pants off, in the real reality, securities are going to come. But it's a movie scene. So it's like, they just let them get away with that. I know he's like trying to show like father and son love, and it's a little bit touching. I get that. It's like,
was it touching? If he lives in Manhattan, why is he taking his dad to a airport restaurant?
Yeah.
And the dad is okay enough to travel from LA to New York, but can't be trusted enough to wait in line for a restaurant.
Well, who knows what happens during the
all of a sudden. And then guys, remember like on the way from the restaurant, they were like riding in a cab. And all of a sudden they go,
yeah.
All of a sudden he picks them up in a boat as a taxi.
Oh my God. Okay, so they're going home in a cab together. Normal thing that you do in Manhattan. Why did they call Woody Harrelson?
to pick him up in a boat to avoid traffic.
Oh, yeah, to avoid traffic. So, because Woody Harrelson has his boat and it's like, oh, we're going to avoid all this traffic. And Joe jumped on his boat.
That's not how it works at all. That is not
I don't think so.
It does.
That's the only boat on the Hudson River or whatever. It's like the only boat there. It's like only Woody Harrelson owns that boat. Everyone else has to be stuck in traffic. But I'm Woody Harrelson. I got this one little boat in the middle of Hudson.
And he was
River.
out there, just him.
Just him, just that one boat.
Woody Harrelson always wears this red jacket on a boat. Like, I don't know, it just looked like a creepy little man jumping around.
Did JT and the dad jump into the boat? I don't remember this.
No, I think I
They
can't.
don't show what they're doing. You can use the imagination.
I would have to imagine I remembered it if had they jumped.
Okay, and then they have a heart-to-heart. At what point did they run into Shaun White again? I really want to touch on this. And I'll tell you why. Brian, do you remember where it was in all of this dad boat Alzheimer's insanity that they ran into Shaun White again?
I think it was after they had this dinner at this airport with like a father-son thing. But basically after that, and they went to the baggage claim area, and Shaun White shows up, of course. Now I have to figure out why he was so pissed earlier on. So it's like he comes and then he bumps into Richard Jenkins, and then he was like, I'm so sorry, I'll pick up the luggage for you. And he's like super nice to his dad. And then he turns his body and bumps into JT. And he was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And he starts lashing out again, he's just lashing out all kinds of stuff to JT. And then of course, I mean, he would be like, well, what's the matter with you? Like, what's wrong with me? And then you understand it was basically just him being bitter and salty. It was like, oh, you're with Jamie. And then like, why are you with her, Mila Kunis, whereas I'm not? It's like just being bitter about that. It's just
No, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he said he's been trying to get Jamie to Poundville.
Okay.
He says, I've been trying to take her to Poundville for the last 3 years. Poundville?
Yeah.
Poundville.
I've never heard this before.
This is a new term. I have no idea.
It
what
was
that
just so gross.
It is.
All right. So we're going to get to the wrap up that every rom-com comes to. I don't know if it's this strange, but who wants to walk us through the final scene?
So basically, before going to that, I think basically his way of changing his mind was at the restaurant with his dad, and his dad was trying to. Yeah, without pants, both of them having their pants off in like a heavily public place in New York City airport, and then like his dad starts. Because he has Alzheimer's, he saw like a random woman and was like calling a name. And then JT was like, who's Diddy? Or who's this person? And then he starts explaining that this was the love of his life. And he just let her go, being too proud to express his feelings. So like kind of using that way of his father's past to tie into his reality of how he fucks up with Mila Kunis, and then he's like, oh, okay, I got to do something to fix it. It was like just like that. That's the moment where he decides to really fix things. So that's how he then decides to somehow meet Mila Kunis back at
Grand Central Station.
Yeah, Grand Central Station.
This man has a lot of access and resources and connections.
I mean, he's the GQ art director, I guess. So he gets all these people and to do another, like the movie ending scene of a flash mob. And then suddenly that's how they bump into each other. The flash mob playing the exact same songs that JT sang earlier when they were having sex. And it was just so weird.
Third Eye Blind, or it wasn't Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, something like that. And then that's how they ended up like basically confessing their feelings and what went wrong. And it's like, oh, we're both emotionally damaged. Who isn't? And yeah, I feel like I guess everyone's emotionally damaged in one way or another. And it's just like whether accept someone's package or not. And I feel like with their situation, it's workable. Like some situations when you both are emotionally damaged, I would say at least the movie's trying to portray them as a really high chemistry couple.
Yeah,
and
they have
I feel
a foundation.
Like the problems that they had, I feel like was something that's repairable if they just opened their feelings up. What JT had basically he wasn't able to really open up his feelings earlier with Mila Kunis, and then he realized the real way of actually connecting is basically them trying to open up their feelings, which Mila Kunis was trying to do with him. I think he's affected by how he sees his father's marriage, how that went because of the divorce, and he's just worried about himself opening up and fucking things up. But then he realized to really solve something, to not let someone go who's really has such a good, wonderful chemistry and compatibility with you, you have to, in some ways, open up some of your feelings and let them know how you feel. And that's exactly what they did at the stair step.
She happens to be at Grand Central Station. Her mom happens to be there. She says, look to the side. Justin Timberlake has planned this huge flash mob. I'm sorry, why were flash mob? Like, people were going nuts over flash mobs during this time.
Yeah, and it was at Times Square as flash mob. But well, that was earlier in the movie.
Yeah, so they took all the people from Times Square, gathered everyone around, started a text chain, I suppose, got everyone to be at Grand Central Station, put on a flash mob so he can just ask her to go out. I mean, why did you need to do all of this? I actually, like, all he did was ask her on a first date. I have to say, though, when he was saying, I want you to be my best friend again, I kind of thought there was going to be this last minute plot twist where instead of them hooking up as a couple, they were just going to go back to being friends. Anyways, I was wrong, but they go off into the sunset, go on their first date, start having sex on the table at the cafe.
Yeah, letting waiters to do all the cleaning after that.
Yeah.
Just like reminiscing on having sex on a table, hopefully without the number 2 happening afterwards. Or so the waiters have to clean it up.
Yeah.
He's used to taking his pants at tables, so he's a pro at that, I guess.
Right. If he's going to take his pants off in a restaurant, maybe that's the next move, going to the bathroom, as I like to say.
Yeah, and they played the exact same, I think so, Hey Sister. Like, they played the exact same movie in the end when they were trying to ironically trash that rom-com movie they were both watching on the sofa, which played the exact same song. And then they're trying to show that they're not a traditional rom-com movie, trying to kind of like ironically portray the traditional ones. And then in the end, they played exactly how like the typical rom-com movies are like. I'm like, are they? I guess they were just trying to make fun of it, but show them they're still in that
like
classic
kind of a meta
genre. I think it's definitely intentional, but I just don't know whether it really worked out that way.
I mean, it just seemed like it was making fun of itself. I really want to mention one last thing before we say just, I don't know, last thoughts about it. I just wanted to give like a shout out to Jason Segel. I think you're adorable and fun. And the character Marshall still has a little place in my heart. I wouldn't say that this movie has a place in my heart. I think this was really fun to talk about. Desi, do you have any last thoughts about the film in general?
I would love to hang out with Woody Harrelson and Shaun White on a boat getting drunk if I was in that movie and talking shit about the two fakers.
You can have Patricia Clarkson. Think of the
there you go.
Oh, right. Yeah. I want to hang out with Patricia Clarkson. I think she seems cool. I like her look, too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, for me, I like I said earlier in the beginning, like if people are actually going in, it's like, oh, what is Friends with Benefits about in this movie? I was like, yeah, don't take this that seriously. I don't think that's how it works. Like, if you want to actually know, probably find out other ways, like people's actual stories than the movie, which in most cases, I guess, is really hard to just take what happens in the movie and say, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. And then
please don't. But
yeah, if it's like something you just want to have fun with watching, I don't know, on a Friday night or something, yeah, why not? I personally enjoyed it. It's really cinematic in a way. It's like, it's definitely not how a chemistry would typically work in real life, but
okay. In my opinion, to experience what Friends with Benefits is, you have to do it on your own. There's not one same situation for any of the Friends with Benefits. They all roll different ways. If it happens, then you really find out what's going on. And you have the backstory, the way it unfolds. It's a very unpredictable situation. Mm-hmm. It's not all that miserable, and like people describe it as something like bound to fail. Not always, but
no, not at all. In fact, please, everyone, go and look at the previous episode. I did it with a friend of mine who has still several Friends with Benefits situations. She's been doing this for years and years. She has great camaraderie with everyone. She's had lots of great experiences with this. If you really want to know how this works and how it can work for you, go listen to that episode before or after you listen to this. and for the reality of how to make this work, how to get a lot out of it, how to remain friends, how to get the benefits, how to navigate in and out of it. Because this is a real thing. I don't think that the movie portrayed it the way that it actually plays out. There's lots of potential for this to be actually quite an expansive experience between two people.
Yeah, and I think there could be many situations. Like this is one, I mean, both people being either emotionally damaged or unavailable. In real life, I do think it's a situation that could work out well, just not the way they portrayed it. But there are other situations, like if you're too toned in one specific person and it arouses insecurity of yourself, like being able to open up your options to other people that way and not feel like you're so toned into one person could help build up your security within yourself and not feel as insecure. Or like people who are really busy either with jobs or kids, or there's just so many scenarios that it could work well, and of course there are many scenarios like that might not work as well. Like there's so many dynamics, and this is one of the many dynamics that could happen. But I think, like what Dessi says, like until you experience it, everyone's experience differs and will come up with their own story.
And it's an awesome experience, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to be biased, but it's no matter how it ends.
No, Laura said as well, she loves the fact that she was open to friends with benefits situation because it has brought so much to her life and color to, like, I guess, the variety of ways that she can connect with people. She had mostly good things to say about it. So, yeah, obviously it's a movie. Obviously it's a rom-com. It had to end this way, but it doesn't have to be so complicated. It doesn't have to be this, like, will we turn into a couple? It can just be two people connecting, and it's okay if it runs its course and it comes to an end. And I think there's healthier ways to do it than these two did. It was funny. I probably won't watch it again, but I loved having the two of you on. Desi, thank you so much. Brian, thank you so much. Yeah, I would look forward to the next one if you guys are down. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. I will be doing a lot of tipsy episodes in the future, so everyone stay tuned. As I think some people are aware, I will have a big announcement about the show coming up, so keep your eyes on this space. If you have an idea or want me to cover a certain movie or a certain topic, DM me, email me. All the information is in the show notes. I would absolutely love to hear from you. If you have a friends with benefits situation story that you would like to share, totally hit me up. If you have a question about it, anything, I want to hear from my audience. I am enjoying rambling on because of this French 75. And if you are going through a breakup, I am wishing you, if you are going through a breakup, if you follow the show because you are going through a breakup, I am sending you so much strength for the week ahead. See you next time.
Bye.
Adios. Bye.